This video shows you how to use the pole barn calculator to compute the amount of materials you need to construct a pole barn. If you look at this calculator, it has functions from top to bottom for the materials, but we'll kind of walk through the process here. First, obviously, there's a site preparation. You need to create a level site. But then the next thing typically is you are going to dig or drill holes for the circular piers. We have a calculator to tell you how many piers you need, how much concrete would be required for that. We also have in this suite a calculator to tell you how much concrete for the slab if you choose to put a slab on it. The calculator will also tell you the number of posts. The next step is putting up the beams and the trusses across the span of the pole barn. We have a calculator again in this suite that will tell you those requirements. And once the trusses and beams are up, then come the purlins and girts. Purlins are the boards that go across the trusses on the roof. That metal skin would be attached to that. Girts are the boards that go across, like girdle, will go across the side. And again, siding is attached to that, in this case, metal panels. The next calculator is the metal roof and trim, and we'll go through that here briefly. And based upon the pitch and again the span and the length of the building, it will calculate the number and length of metal panels and ridge cap and trim, etc. Next is the calculation, again, based upon the dimensions for the metal siding. It'll tell you the length and number of the boards or the panels to go up, including over a door opening. And then last, we do have one calculator that I'll show you briefly that does it all. If you put in some basic dimensions, it'll spit out a whole list to go through all the above. So let's go and take a look at some of these calculators. You can go to them individually by clicking on the description links, or you can click on one of the buttons. So for example, let's look at the metal for a gable roof. So if you click on that, up pops a panel, which basically you put in the ridge length. So we give you an example, say it's 36 long, 36 feet. Again, you can change units to metric if you wish, but we're sticking with English units for now. That's the ridge length, and then the span, this measurement here, will say is something to the order of 24 feet. And then you pick the pitch of your roof, so anything from a 112 up to a 1412, but 412 seems to be pretty standard. And then you specify the overhang off of the edge, and then the widths of the panels that you're using. And it basically will tell you the panel lengths need to be that length, and this is the number of panels you wish. If you want the details, you click on details, and it will tell you the length of the panels and also give you information on like the snow guard, the length of the angle trim, the length of the purlin rows, number of purlin rows. So again, very powerful tool here. And you can click share the results and send yourself a spec email if you wish. Put in your email address here and then give yourself some notes to go with it, and an email will be sent to you. So that's just one. So that's for a metal gable roof. Similarly, if you just want the number of purlins, some of the same information. If you want to know the number of trusses needed, again, you give the ridge length and the spacing of the trusses, and it'll tell you that. It'll tell you the metal for the gable siding on the gable ends. This is pretty interesting. Again, you give the height of the building. We'll say it is 18 feet high, and the span will give it at 24 feet. And basically, it will not only just tell you the number of panels, this total area in metal. It'll tell you the number of metal panel screws you need, the total number of panels for that gable end, and then the length of each of the panels going up and including the cut angle. So again, and of course you could share the results. So again, very powerful for gable ends. This gable ends over a door, so in a similar factor, but you have to give the dimensions of the door. So again, when you get the details, it will again take into account going up and over the door. Girts for a building, and won't necessarily same information, wall beams, posts for the building, rebar and concrete in the slab. So this one basically is our standard masonry calculator at VCalc for a rectangular slab, where you put in the dimensions of the slab, the length, width, the depth, So we'll go ahead and do that. We'll say 24 feet for the length of the building, length of the slab, and we'll say it's 36 feet long. And we're going to put in 6 inches of concrete and use size 8 rebar, so full 1-inch rebar. Basically what it does is it gives you the length of rebar, the number of sticks. Oh, and you do need to specify the length of your sticks, the rebar sticks that you're getting. Some people, 20 is common these days, fits easily on the back of a truck, but some people can order larger ones, 40, even 60 feet. You need to put in a lapping factor and the number of mats, but basically it'll give you the very good details. It'll tell you, again, the length of rebar you need, the number of sticks, the weight of that rebar, and again, you can change the inputs and outputs always. If they have units, so the length, you can say, well, what is that in tons, or here, metric tons, and it'll tell you that in metric tons. It'll give you an estimate on the cost based upon the cost that you entered in per rebar stick, and it'll tell you how much concrete you need. So in this case, it was 15.73 cubic yards of concrete, and it'll tell you the weight of the slab, taking into account the concrete that was displaced by the rebar. So again, very, very, very powerful tool here. So we'll close that. Piers for the building. Now this one, and it's the last one I'll show you right now, is it kind of does it all at once. So basically we'll give you the pole barn materials. So let's go back again. We'll say the length of our building, we're going to say it's 36 feet long. The width, 24 feet. We're going to put the pitch at 612. The inside height, I'm going to say is 10 feet high. You give the specifications for the door, the width and the height, the spacing of the trusses, the spacing of the purlins, the spacing of the girts, and the spacing of the posts. And what it does is it gives you a very detailed spec sheet, and you can even say, give me the measurement details, and it gets even bigger. So the length of the panels, etc. Very powerful tool. And again, you can hit share results and send all of this to yourself in kind of a spec sheet, if you will, with notes. And again, just put in your email address. We don't abuse that. We'll send that to you. Keep it private. And again, give yourself very powerful notes on the materials needed to calculate. Again, the rough end. There'll be some details that won't be included, but this is a very good first estimate on calculating materials needed for a pole barn. Okay, thank you for watching this video. The link to this calculator will be in the first comment. And again, thanks for using VCalc. And give us feedback if there's something that if we ever get something wrong, that happens. Leave us a message. But also, if there's an addition that you would like to see or a correction, please let us know that. Again, these are all free for the public to use, and we're happy to do it.